With the engine running, I can reach my finger in here. There's a plunger. That's the kill switch. This lever here is supposed to swing into position and push it in. Sometimes when it goes in, it turns it off. Other times when it goes in, it doesn't turn it off. So I was pushing it. Every once in a while, it wouldn't shut off. So we're going to change that switch. And I have the new switch. There's the part number. Here it is in the bag. First, we got to take the air filter off. And start taking this apart. Using a 10mm, remove this air filter housing. Note the length of these screws is really long, so it's obviously going to hold the carburetor in too. You'll see when I pull it out. So we're going to disconnect the air hose. Gotta get a screwdriver for that. I got it started with the screwdriver. Now I can take this off the rest of the way. Notice how the carburetor has drooped down. Have to make sure the gaskets and all go back in the right way. It looks like the next step is to remove this screw, then this whole plate will come out. I can get to the back side with a screwdriver to take this kill switch out. This bolt holds a lot of stuff with this bracket. I don't know if you can see how much is wobbling. So you gotta be careful on what comes apart. Let me take it apart. And it's another long screw. There goes the carburetor and a bunch of gasoline. In case you've never noticed it before, this is the choke that sandwiches between the carburetor and the cylinder head. Next, I need to remove this connector that connects the ground wire to this kill switch. I'm not going to be able to do it one-handed, but you could see what I'm doing, basically using a needle nose to pull it off. Using a Phillips screwdriver, I removed this screw. It's almost all the way out, but I left it in so you could see it. Here's the new kill switch. I've got to move the screw from the old one to the new one and put it back in. The screw through the kill switch with the big washer is there. I also pushed the connector on. It was easier to do that. Then I'll be tightening it up with a screwdriver. There is a little slot that the finger of this kill switch fits into on the metal bracket, so make sure that's aligned before you tighten it down. Then we put the screw back in, get that lined up, and put it back in this hole and get it finger started. The hardest part of this is putting the choke plate, the carburetor, and the air filter and all that gasketing and get them all aligned. I'll show you what I do. First, I wipe all the dust away. The gasket appears still good, so I'm going to reuse it. Next, I push the bolts into this air filter, and they've got a shoulder on them, so they kind of straighten out. Holding it from the back side, you can see the shoulders. I'm going to take this gasket and slip it on there. It's important to orient the gasket so that hole is in line with the slot. The next thing I do is take those two prongs, guide them through this hole, and with another hand hold the carburetor up, and then feed it in a little farther with the screws, and then shove this choke plate thing in. Okay, so I have the screws in, I have the first gasket, I'm through the metal bracket, through the next gasket, It's in between the carb and this plate, and the screws are partway through the carburetor. And then I have to work this piece in next. You can see I've rough located it. This protrusion hangs between this metal plate on the overhead valve cover and the cylinder head, which is what has the thermal thing in it that melts to make the choke operate. And then it's just got this linkage thing that touches the choke plate. Now that I have everything lined up, I finger tighten these, get them started. Otherwise, you'll cross-thread it in the cylinder head. Here you get a little better view of this plunger thing that pushes on this choke. Here you can see the screws threaded through everything. Now that I'm sure everything's going in, tighten this up. It's a rush minute on my street today. You'll also notice I hadn't tightened this screw all the way in so that I could do some aligning. Now I'll tighten that screw up. I'm reaching over with my finger, pushing on the plunger. Hear it killing the engine. Dead. All fixed. Thanks for watching.